Warning: this podcast may contain graphic violence, sexual themes, and bad language. If our language offends you, we apologize, but we do not give a fuck. Be mindful of your kids listening.
The Evil Never Dies podcast.
Hey, evil ones.
Good thing.
Welcome
What's
to
up?
our 50th episode.
50. That's
50.
amazing. I didn't think we'd make it past five.
5 years, 50 years younger than I am. All right. Carl, we got a special guest with us tonight. You want to tell everybody who our special guest is?
Yes, a very good friend of mine, brother of metal, Mr. George Call.
Hey guys.
Many different bands, but primary band is from the 90s on has been ASKA. So welcome, George, to the show.
Welcome, buddy. Appreciate you being on.
It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, Brett, Carl, and an honor to be featured here on your 50th show. Very cool. It's a very cool milestone, and that it shows a lot about your longevity and your love for this kind of music.
Yep.
Yeah,
Metalhead's life, man.
It is, definitely. And, ASKA's always been so special to me, especially from, I guess, Avenger on. I've pretty much been around you guys nonstop.
Well, we hope that you continue to be, because album number 7, which will be called Night Strike, is done. It's finished. It's 100% complete. And now we're just, waiting to get the label to put it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Can't wait.
Can't
Yeah,
wait,
I got to
man.
hear a preview of it at the last show, actually.
Did you? Who did that for you? Who played it for you? Did I?
You did.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's it will blow your mind. It's really good. It's
Yes, what I heard was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and we all feel that it is. I guess it's the pinnacle of all of our hard work and struggle in this music. It's our finest moment yet. And I know a lot of bands say that, oh, well, this is our best time. Oh, well, this is our best time. Well, this truly is. Yeah, we really feel like it. This is our the culmination of a long trudge up the mountain of metal, and I think it's the peak of we're at the peak of our musical prowess. I don't think we've had a finer moment, recorded moment than Night Strike. And don't take my word for it, though. Soon enough, the world will hear it, and then you guys can decide and let me know.
Oh, definitely. Well, of course, George, you're in several bands. Banshee, Cloven Hoof, currently both bands. You got a new project you're working on. We just heard today.
I got this in the mail. I ordered a frame for it, brother.
There you go. Very cool.
It's going on my metal wall.
Right on. That's Carl. If you still can't see, that was the Banshee record that
Picture disc.
Picture disc for the Mind Slave, which was my first album with Banshee.
I love that album. That is a phenomenal record.
Thank you so much, man. I enjoy doing it with the bands, and what that record did that the follow-up didn't was it had 2 original Banshee members, which was Terry Dunn and Chuck Hopkins. They were there from the first album, the Metal Blade record, and when we did the Madness, unfortunately, Chuck was gone at that point. In fact, it was only Terry and I were the only guys that were held over from the Mind Slave recording sessions. But we've remedied that with the new Banshee record that's coming out. Chuck is back.
Oh, great. Yeah.
So we've for the most part, 3/4 reunited the team that did Mindslave. So I think that it's always better when one of those classic bands or retains a lot of its original membership. So in this case, Banshee's back to having 50% original members. I'm always happy when that happens.
Yeah, I agree. That's always great.
Yeah. I think people, I'm a fan of this music too. I don't just do it. I just play it or perform it. I'm a huge fan as well. And whenever bands can retain as much or as many original members as possible, that's always a bonus, right?
It's always
Exactly.
a bonus, definitely. Just like ASKA, we still got you and Keith from album number 1.
We do. And Danny, he's been there for now.
Danny's been there forever. Yes.
Decades, over a decade. I mean, well over 10 years. I mean,
I remember I was at Danny's first show too. I remember that night well.
Where was that? At Gilligan's? Jay Gilligan's?
I think it was at what was that pool hall on Division?
Freddy's? Fast Freddy's?
Fast Freddy's. I think it was at Fast Freddy's.
I think Danny came out to Fast Freddy's one night, but I
Maybe
don't know.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He came to the show, but I don't know if he was.
It might have been at Gilligan's then, but I know it was a big secret. I was in on the secret that Danny was going to be the drummer. And he was, Danny won us over right when he walked in. We'd been trying out drummers for months up until he walked in, and every luminary from the Dallas-Fort Worth metal scene, everybody.
And even people came in from as far as Omaha, Nebraska. we had people coming in from out of state to try out, and
wow,
it was crazy. And our whole thing was we weren't making any decisions on the day of the auditions because if somebody comes in from out of state and he comes in and he plays, we're not like, yeah, dude, you don't cut it. We want to confer, we want to meet with each other, we want to talk about it, discuss it as a band, and then make our decision. And that's how it was for every guy that auditioned.
Make sure you find out who's the best fit.
Right. But then, we'd been doing it for weeks.
It'd been a long process.
Yeah. And then a guy, I think one of the guys from a band that was around at that time I think they were called Broken Toys. Do you remember these guys at all or not? They're a local band.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, I had run into their bass player somewhere, and he told me, he goes, "Hey, I know you guys are looking for a drummer, right? I know a guy." And he put me in touch with Danny, and I lined him up for an audition. And I got to tell you, man, when he walked in, I remember Keith and Daryl were kind of like, here we go. Here we go again.
Here we go with another.
Yeah, another, audition that, they're hopeful. I came in and he played. And I got to tell you, man, I was instantly bowled over by what I heard. I was like, oh my God, I think this is the guy. And he played another song. And I think by his second or third song, I was like, you know what? All protocol out the window, all prior stipulations, down the drain. If you want the job, you got the job. I offered him the job on the spot because he was so good. And, I liked his attitude and his demeanor, but more importantly, his playing. I mean, that's what got him the job, hands down, was his playing. He was just on it.
Danny is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's really good.
Great drummer.
He was the only guy that could do Jason Sweat. They could replicate Jason Sweat's licks. Now, Jason set the bar high.
Jason did.
He was a fantastic, phenomenal drummer to this day. You can't take anything from Jason, when it comes to his playing ability. I mean,
Not
the guy
at all.
was talent through and through. He played guitar, keyboards. He sang. He was a drummer extraordinaire. And so, we knew it was big shoes to fill with Jason. But when Danny came in, we were like, wow, here's a guy that actually listened to Jason's licks and is replicating them and can do the stuff he's doing. Like on Crown of Thorns, there's like that little stagger that,
Yep.
Well, he was the only one that had that and that he was doing it exactly like Jason would play. We're like, okay, wow, and he won the job. His talents won him the gig, and he's been there pretty much ever since. I mean, there was a period where
just that little short period, yeah.
He came back for, I don't know if it was a year or so, and we were happy to have him back, but then it didn't work out, and we were happy to bring Danny back in, and he's been there ever since. And
yeah, I love Danny to death. Me and him had a lot of good talks, and I actually got to be his drum roadie there for several years.
But you got lucky because normally his drum techs usually end up doubling as his massage girls.
That was Beeson. Beeson was the massage girl. Yeah, it was Beeson.
That was me. What happened to Beeson? I don't know what happened to him.
Beeson had a stroke, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but he's doing better, and he's starting to kind of talk on Facebook more. So, we may see him again soon.
Well, that's good. I didn't know he had a stroke, man.
Yeah, Beeson was acting a little funny before, and it sort of makes sense now. Remember, he was posting weird stuff and just kind of acting off.
Yeah, he was posting. It was like almost every post of his was sardonic, sarcastic, and negative.
Very negative. But maybe, you got a medical condition he didn't know about that could have explained it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big believer in second chances for people.
I am too.
So if he had a stroke and whatnot, hey man, I'm all about giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I wish him the best. I hope he feels better. And he's always a nice guy, good guy, and he's always welcome, to the shows and wherever. I mean, he was a nice guy.
Got a show coming up in June at the Rail Club.
We do.
Yeah, I'm making that one for sure.
Yeah, that'll be Brett's first ASKA show.
Wow. Are you a DFW native, Brett, or what?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Illinois.
Wow. Okay. Well, then,
I've been here since 2012 and met Carl through the haunt industry. So
Moxley Manor Haunted House. Yep.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Yeah. Carl, I feel like such a shit. You've invited us so many times to come out there. And we're always, we're either in the studio or we're recording or we're playing or we're out of town or we're on tour. There's always something that prevents us from going this thing. And every year I say to myself, I'm going this year. I'm going. And then, but when you're in 4 or 5 bands,
yeah, exactly.
and a relationship and you're a father, it makes things very,
it's tough. Yes.
But believe me, it's not for lack of trying. Hopefully 2022 will be the year, and we will go to your haunted manor. And
well, you'll have to come to Carl's house this year because we built a haunt in his backyard.
Even better.
We went full circle. And I was telling Brett, he said, did George ever come to the haunt? I'm like, George didn't, but Vinnie Paul did. Vinnie actually came to my home haunt one year, and we were doing shots in the kitchen. So that's kind of a fun story.
What a trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace. I can't believe the brothers are gone,
I know. It's a sad story.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that new Cloven Hoof album while you still got a little bit of time. Time Assassins.
Believe it or not, the album came out on March 11th, and I just got a copy yesterday.
Oh, the CDs are finally available?
Yes, and but here's the thing: the record label we're on. It's my 3rd album with Cloven Hoof. My first was Who Mourns for the Morning Star. The second one was Age of Steel, and then the new one is called Time Assassin, as Carl mentioned. and all three have been on different labels, right? Two were German labels, and then the new one is HM Revolver Records out of England, right? So we're talking English speakers, British label, and yet they've been the most absent-minded or lax in taking care of the band. You know, I've always, all my labels prior, which have been German and Italian and American, they've always, whenever I've had an album release coming out, they've always sent me promos or sent the band promo copies of the record we just released. For some strange reason, Heavy Metal Revolver hasn't sent us anything. Nobody in the band.
That's
Luke, our guitar player, had to buy his copies.
What? Really?
I refused. Yeah, he had to buy his copies, and because I hit him, I said, "Luke, you've got the album. Did they send you?" No, mate. I had to buy them. You know, because Cloven. I don't know if you know this, Brett, but Cloven Hoof is British.
Yep.
It's one of the new wave of British heavy metal bands that came out way back in the day and had records. I was actually a fan before I joined them.
Yeah, I was a fan too. Laying Down the Law. I remember that song well.
Yeah, same year. That was from the first album, and great record. That's how I discovered them, and you know, to sing for them years later was a great honor. But Time Assassin on this new label, they did not, you know, provide anyone in the band promo copies. So, hey, man, it's a killer record. It's a very good album. All the reviews have just, you know, given it high marks all around. You know, we're very proud of it. So we can't understand why the label is treating us like we're lepers.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually had to buy it off of Apple Music, which normally, you know, I'll get the CD and burn it to my computer. But in this case, I actually bought it, you know, from iTunes. So at least, you know, hopefully I'll got a penny out of it.
Yeah. If you go to
I've listened to it on Spotify, so
okay,
I got it on my favorites. So
if you go to Amazon now, you can actually get physical copies of the disc.
I'll be ordering one tonight. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got my, like I said yesterday, and I must send out a very, very special thanks and a hell yeah, and I love you to Craig Wisdom. He's a friend of mine. He's an attorney in Arizona, in Tucson, Arizona. And when he heard that here we were in May, and he heard that I still didn't have a copy of my new record, Time Assassin with Cloven Hoof.
That's
He
crazy.
said, you know what? Yeah, he said exactly that. He goes, you know what? That's crazy. That is, it's a sin. And you know, you've made us here in the metal community feel so good with this record and done such a service to us by releasing this great album that I'm going to do you one, and I'm sending you a copy of this album that I'm going to buy. So he went out, Craig Wisdom went out, he bought me this record, and he sent it to me. He sent me a copy of my record, which the label couldn't find themselves the time to do.
Wow.
Craig Wisdom did it. So my hat's off to Craig. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And, you know, those kind of things are not forgotten, you know.
No, that's a great man right there to take care of you.
That's awesome, man. That's a big fan.
He is. He's a great, and he's been a longtime supporter of ASKA, Banshee, Cloven. Whatever I've done, he's gotten behind it and supported it. And I just thank him profusely. Craig, Carl, you should find Craig on my Facebook. Friend him. He's a true metalhead.
We'll do that.
He's the real deal. He used to run a magazine called Ascendant Strains back in the day, a fanzine. And he's just
fanzine. That's an old term.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Back before people did the stuff online, you know, they would actually print their own magazines and review albums and, you know, do essays and reviews and interviews. And
yep.
Craig, you know, he was an editor for his own.
That's really neat.
Yeah. And now he's an attorney, you know. So
wow, yeah.
You know,
awesome.
So, yeah.
I still remember when Harder Beat was sort of our local kind of rag for the metal community.
Yeah. I remember that too. I remember
I got trashed in that several times with Video Bob.
We got, you know, actually we were I remember the editor Linda Haller refused to cover ASKA because she hated some of their subject matter on their Immortal album. You know, like she didn't like You Suck, and she didn't like Dream of Color, and she didn't like some of those songs. Just she was like, no, I refuse to cover these guys. And that's when we kind of went to war with the Harder Beat for a year.
I think I remember that actually.
Yeah,
He's digging into the vault here. He's digging into the vault.
One of the most underrated albums ever. Y'all really need to put this in print again. I know we've talked about it for years, and Immortal's such a good album.
It really, you know what? I've had so many offers to re-release that record and the first one, and we're going to. It's it's decided. Me and Keith have agreed to it. It's just a matter of timing. I know that some of the material on that record is going to get us canceled, and I'm like,
yeah,
you're canceled already. Fuck the cancelers. Here's for the people who like to cancel. I just say double barrel. Fuck you to those people. I mean, you can't cancel the people the irreverent people that don't give a shit. 'Cause I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of us out there for sure.
Yeah.
And shout out to that song "Can't Break Free." That's one of my favorite ASKA songs.
That was Keith.
Keith, Darren, and
yeah, he was the primary writer on that one, and he sang that one and did a fantastic job. And I remember him getting what you're saying right there. He got those same kind of kudos in Buddy magazine. You guys remember Buddy magazine?
I remember Buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we got the CD of the year, the Around Arlington CD of the year, Gene Dalton said that was her favorite song. So, kudos to Keith for that. Let's not, and one thing on the new ASKA record that's coming out this year, Night Strike. We've got Keith back to singing a song on there. So either I'm singing all the songs, but Keith is singing one as well, which was something that I felt was long overdue. In the early days on the first 3 albums, we used to get, we had 3 of the 4 of us would sing songs and take lead vocal.
Yeah,
and
people forget that ASKA used to. There wasn't a lead vocalist. All of you guys were sort of like Kiss.
Yeah, we split the duties. We were into that duties Kiss thing, yeah. And I think it worked to good effect, but we couldn't get signed that way. We couldn't get any record deals. People were like, "You're too all over the place." So that's why we kind of changed that approach and went to just me singing. And immediately we got a deal with the Italian label and then the German label, and so it worked. It got us signed, but now that we've established ourselves, I'm like, hey, Keith, it's time for you to sing again. It's time to get you on a song again. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And so you can definitely hear him on a full lead vocal on the new album.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
awesome.
Because Immortal, Keith sings that song, doesn't he?
No, he sings.
No, what is it? It's
Vigilante.
Yeah, there we go. Vigilante.
Yeah, he does Vigilante.
Song.
I think he does another one on the album too. Can't Break Free.
I think so.
Yeah, Can't Break Free and Vigilante, and then Darren sang Before You Came, Don't Know Much About Love, and I think something else as well. But yeah, go ahead.
Brett, Darren, the original guitar player, is like a pastor now in the church world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
to each their own, I guess.
Yeah. He left the band and got a little weird there for a while.
He got a little weird.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still pastoring anymore, but he actually moved to Costa Rica and was a pastor at a church there for several years. He went from a outlaw rock and roll guy touring the world, releasing albums, to now. Please turn to page 26 in our Bibles, and we want to say, he did an about face.
He did an about face.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? He loves to in the church. I saw some things that he did. He likes to show. We can all change. We can all change. Look at me. Look what I used to look like. And then they put pictures of him when he was in ASKA.
Oh, jeez.
His guitar and stuff. He goes, look, I underwent the change here, and if I can do it, you can do it too. So that was kind of funny. That's cool. I mean, if he, Darren, he was the co-founder of ASKA, so I always wish him well and hope for the best. And we a few years ago we talked about doing a one-off show reunion, all the original guys, Damon, Darren, Keith, me, and everybody was cool for it. It would have been really fun, but Darren, well, let me consult with my wife, and he got back to me a day or two later. He goes, I can't do it.
Evidently, she said no, huh?
The boss said no. So,
Been there, done that.
Corrupted him.
Yeah. So that happens sometimes. But what did you want to talk about the Time Assassin? You were asking about that.
Yeah,
Just
that's
wanted
a
to
good
give
album, man.
give a promo
quite
to it.
enjoy
And now that we can get it on CD, that's even better.
Yeah. I've actually got. I'm so happy to finally have the copy. To actually finally own a hard copy. I'm as a music collector, I also try to collect at least one of everything that I release. The song out, the thing I was on with Omen, the stuff I've done for Emerald, the music I've done, there's so many bands, man, I can't even begin to remember them all. But Icy Steel, Warcry, Axe Viper. I mean, there's the music I released with all them. I try to collect. I try to have a copy of all of it in my collection. So one day when I'm long gone, the kids can say, "Oh, look, here's all the stuff Dad released." Here's all the stuff he was on. But
That's awesome.
I've even got. I don't know if you remember this thing. It was from Electric Basement.
I do remember that.
Y'all had which was it?
There was a song. There was a Stalker.
I think it was. Let's see. Let me look on this thing.
There was that thing. That was a magazine, a heavy metal magazine out of up north somewhere. Maybe from your area there, Brett, in the Chicago area.
It was Freedom, actually.
Freedom. Okay, cool.
And I think it was a little bit different version of Freedom.
Yes, it was. I think it was with Danny on the drums.
I think so.
Version with Danny White playing drums, and then the album version had Jason Sweat on the drums. But so it was. But that was a magazine, and this mag came with a CD, and that CD you had right there, Carl.
Yeah.
like
I
a
got a lot of
compilation
stuff.
album, or
Yeah, just different bands.
Yeah, compilation, exactly. It's all of them were bands that were either featured in the magazine or bands that had for whatever reason made it onto the CD, or they wanted to highlight or talk about. And
cool.
And yes, that was a cool thing. We've done a bunch of those. We were on that tribute to Maiden. Did you ever get that?
I've got that. Yeah.
The Damned. Yeah, we were on that, and we were on several other releases. Some for Warriors of Metal put out some compilations for the bands that were playing that festival. We were on that. There have been so many over the years.
I think I've got 3 versions of Avenger.
You know what? So do I. I think I have 4. I might have 4 versions. Like there's the Asian release version. There's the Russian release version. There's the and of course the language is all in English, but it's the writing, the layouts. Yeah. Some of them are digipacks, some are jewel case, some have a slip case that it goes in. Some have bonus videos on them. Remember? Do you have the bonus?
This one does have the bonus videos.
Yeah.
It's got Crown of Thorns and Angel of War.
Yeah, you put them in your computer and you've got the videos. So yeah, man, it's really cool. And now we're thrilled and excited and stoked to get the new one out here later this year. Night Strike. We're very proud of this record.
Yeah.
So are you going to be touring with Cloven Hoof, or?
You know what? It remains to be seen. We since I joined the band in 2015, 17, I think. We put out Morning Star, and I was absolutely 100%. We were doing tours of Europe and the USA. We played in Belgium and France and Spain and Portugal and Germany, and all over Europe, Belgium, and had England as well, and had a blast. And then we brought Cloven Hoof to the USA for the first 2 American tours that the band had ever done. And they were both tours that were 30-date tours. And we went all over the US and Canada, and had a blast. And it was great to that me being in the band was the catalyst to bring this long beloved underground new wave of British heavy metal band to the USA. That's I'm proud of that feather that I wear in my cap there, but to bring that band here. And the shows were great, the fans were great,
I loved the show. I had a great time.
Where did you see us, Carl?
I think it was
at Diamond Gym. Was it Diamond?
It was Diamond Gyms. Yeah, that's where it was at.
We had a blast there, and a great turnout. And
I got to meet Lee and got my picture took with him. That was an honor right there.
Yeah, he was. You were feeling like I felt when I met him when ASKA played with Cloven Hoof and Keep It True in Germany, which is how I met him and how we connected, and I started playing with him. But so we had Brett, to answer your question, we had full intention of touring in support of my second record with the band, Age of Steel. We did full tours for the first record, and then my next record came out, and COVID hit a month before, and we were thinking, well, this will last a week, 2. It'll be 2 months tops, And 2 months turned to 3, 3 turned to 4, 4 turned to a year turned to a year and a half, 2 years, and that was
time to make a new album.
Yes,
pretty much, yeah.
That's what happened. I ended up making 2 albums in that span because we did the new ASKA and the third Cloven Hoof with me on it, and unfortunately, it totally sidelined our live appearances and performances. All tours were sidelined. We had a cruise appearance booked. We had festival appearances booked. We had shows booked. All of that was initially postponed, and then when it became clear that we weren't going to be able to pick it up, it was all canceled. And so to this moment, it's all up in the air. What's going to happen? COVID, initially made it very complicated for bands, especially a band like ours where everybody was in the UK and I was over here in America, to fly out there, to what requirements do you need?
Yeah, exactly.
The EU, because they were very strict on vaccine passports and papers and this and that.
Exactly.
When I flew out of the country for my dad's funeral, I had to take a test before I left. I had to be COVID free up to 48 hours before flying out. On the way back, I had to take another test. I had to be COVID free up to 48 hours before, and I got sick before I could fly out. Thankfully, the test that I took said I was negative, and I got on a plane the next day with chills and sweats and feeling like I was going to die, and but my test said negative, so I flew on a plane back to the USA. Got home, my girlfriend says, "You look very ill. Let's go get you to the hospital and give you a COVID test because I think you've got it." I go, No, I had a test. I'm negative. And I go to the Care Now the next day, and I was positive for COVID. And I flew the day prior. I was like, well, so those tests, I mean, they're hit or miss.
They're very hit and miss.
Yeah. And so, it's just made touring Europe an extreme difficulty for maybe if we were a Metallica caliber or Bon Jovi level Def Leppard, then it's easy to have the money to do those kind of things, but we're a band on our level. We're on a much lesser scale, so it makes it far more complicated to do those kind of things. You know, we're not making the kind of, when we go out, we don't make the same kind of money that a Def Leppard makes. So, you know, it's a whole different ball game. And when you're even messing with something like, well, it's gonna, you know, you might have to cancel the tour if you get sick, you know, or if you don't pass your COVID thing to enter this country, you might, you know, then it's like, well, man, we're out the cash, the tour shut down, and everybody's losing money, and we cannot afford to do that, you know.
Yep, exactly.
But we'll see how it plays, you know. We'll see what happens. We always intend to play, but if it's not feasible, it's not feasible.
It's not feasible, yes. And it seems like things are slowly getting back to normal finally.
They are, but now we're talking about monkeypox.
I heard that about the monkeypox.
I never even heard of this shit before.
The monkeypox.
Yeah, it's like, my God, you know, I see the wheels turning. You know, I see that the people that run the world, they want this kind of stuff. They want to keep everybody shut down, isolated, mail-in voting, you know, and so hopefully people are smarter this time and say, no, thank you. We're not gonna let you shut the world down and ruin every, you know, travel and economy.
Worse than it already is. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
so we say fuck the monkeypox. That's my view on it.
Well, that's the only thing I've seen about it is people putting fucking memes up for people fucking monkeys. That's the only thing I've seen.
Yeah,
man.
I don't know anything.
A great audience, and I'm talking ASKA, Banshee, because Omen. I toured overseas with all three of those bands, and I to be quite honest, I've actually toured more countries with ASKA than I toured with any of the other bands, because ASKA went to Japan, ASKA took me to Australia, ASKA took me to Korea, to Singapore, to the, you know, the Orient, places that I've never been with Cloven Hoof or with Omen or, you know, with Banshee. So that was really cool. But I've got to tell you, I really enjoyed everywhere. I mean, everywhere is cool. Everywhere except the one country that I will tell you that I hated going to was Haiti.
Oh, no.
Haiti, yes, it's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. You know, they are, I mean, absolutely not set up for concerts, for rock bands, and neither is there an audience for that kind of thing there. But there was for us, because we went there and played for the military. It was ASKA doing performing for the troops that were stationed there. So, you know, we were happy to go there and play for them and give them some relief, because it's a terrible place to be. But truly, Haiti was like stepping back in time.
Wow.
And I don't mean like to a good time like the 80s or anything.
Yeah,
like
back to the medieval
Stone
times.
Age. Yes, back to the Stone Age. It was like, oh my God, dude. So yeah, that was the one place. But I'll tell you, I've been to Cuba. I went to Guantanamo Bay and played there and loved it. Loved Guantanamo Bay. Loved the interaction we had with the Cuban people. Loved the interaction we had with the people at Guantanamo. And this was prior to you know, the
9/11 and all that.
Yeah, right. This is prior to 9/11, with having, you know, becoming a prison for Muslim war criminals or whatever it was that it became later. But prior to that, man, it was great. And it was almost like, wow, here we are in a forbidden place, you know, where very few people get to go.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that. Not too many people get to go there.
Yeah. And, you know, we also went to Saudi Arabia, places like that. It was, I truly, you know, I've learned so much about foreign cultures and, you know, international cuisine and just, you know, getting to see the world with a guitar strapped on my back or a microphone in my carry-on. You know, what a dream come true. You know, I've enjoyed it, and that's why I still do it to this day. You know, certainly I'm not getting rich doing this, but if you count life experience, man, the coffers are overflowing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It is, and you're definitely a true metal's in your heart and your blood. Always has been.
Always has been since I decided I wanted to play music. I wanted to be a rocker in 5th grade when I discovered Kiss. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh my God, this is it. This is my career path. This is my." Well, everybody else is like, "I'm going to be a technician, an engineer, a doctor." It's like, man, fuck that. I want to play music. I just don't play music. I don't care if I get rich doing it. I don't care if I just barely scrape by. Now, thankfully, I've done more than scrape by. I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. I'm doing well. But that was my thing. I was going to do no matter what. Come on, man. This is what I want to do. And to this day, I mean, it still resonates. That decision made as a child resonates with me still as an adult, as a near senior citizen.
We're getting there.
We are. We're headed that way, right? We're climbing that way.
But Kiss is the catalyst for a lot of people.
Yeah, they are.
They really were.
Who's some other of your biggest influences growing up?
Oh my gosh, Judas Priest. Rob Halford, Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, and Manowar. I love Manowar. Also,
me and George are both huge Manowar fans. We've always bonded over Manowar.
Yeah. I remember. I think the first time I saw you out in the street somewhere, Carl, we were talking Manowar. It was
I think so.
I think it was it Warriors of the World was out at that time or something?
I think that was it.
It might have been, but yeah, to this day I love them. And but my non-metal influences were people like Rick Springfield, who I listen to this day. I've probably been to as many Rick Springfield concerts as I've been to.
I was going to say, I've seen you on stage, Rick Springfield. I think you make all those shows.
Yeah, I really do. I try not to miss the guy. I'm a huge fan. And so I think that's also, it's influenced my singing a lot, because even though I've been into the metal, I've always been into these melodic singers, like and Rick Springfield being a prime example of that. And, Jamie Jameson from Survivor, I always enjoyed that work as well. And,
I like Survivor.
Yeah. So my singing is always, even though I'm really, I can do the Dio and all that, I love Dio, Black Sabbath. But even though I can do that, I always like to inject that a pleasant melody, something that is still ear candy for. It's not going to scare the girls away. That will still give you something you can sing to, without just everything devolving into a screamo fest or whatever. But that has influenced me as much as some of the other stuff, as much as Kiss or whatever.
Awesome.
But I also, don't get me wrong though, I've also loved bands like Slayer and some of the some of that kind of stuff, that real heavy screaming stuff as well. I mean, I'm just, if it's metal, I've been a fan of pretty much every genre of metal that has existed, from the thrash to the black, King Diamond to the, heavy to the power, all of it, melodic. I mean, if it's metal, I'm there,
Awesome.
I know your brother Damon was always into a lot of those crazy Cannibal Corpse bands.
Oh yeah,
he asked me, "What, you want to go see Cannibal Corpse?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to Cannibal Corpse, Damon." He's like, "Well, I thought I'd ask."
Yeah, I wanted you to go with me when they were just here in town. You said, "Fuck that."
I don't go that far out.
Damon does. He really loves the thrash bands, which I like. I love 6 Feet Under. I went to go see them.
Creator. That's one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, Damon loves them as well. He's a huge Creator fan. But those 80s thrash bands and stuff like that. I mean, we're into a lot of that stuff, if not most of it. I mean, I loved Venom. I mean, as much as they weren't overly proficient on their instruments or weren't great singers, I love their approach, the stuff they were doing. I also got into, I was a big time follower of some of the Christian bands, Resurrection Band, Striper, Jerusalem. Some of these bands really moved me as well. I mean, I could turn around.
Striper.
Yeah. You know what was cool? 1 minute I'd be playing a Merciful Fate record, which is, as black metal as it gets, satanic as they come. And then I'd, finish with that record, and the next record on would be Resurrection Band or Petra or Striper. So, and it was like, man, how can you do?
Which way are you going, man?
Yeah. I said, dude, I can eat chicken and steak. I can have lobster too. I can even throw that in the mix. I mean, I never understand why people just would compartmentalize themselves to where, no. I can only do this. I can't do anything else. I can't listen to anything else. I can't play anything. It's like that made no sense to me,
I used to actually have a Striper and a Slayer poster next to each other.
Good man. Good man.
I did.
Yeah,
and our buddy Video Bob made fun of me for it.
Oh, there you go.
Back in the day.
You know what? A lot of people, when we were younger, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I also would compartmentalize. No. I only listen to this. The music has to be this way. If it's got keyboards, forget I'm not listening to it. And
I knew a lot of guys like that. When I was going to high school, the metal guys were like that.
Yeah. We didn't want any keyboards music.
Yeah, we don't like. What was it? I think I was playing a Guns N' Roses song. They said, "Who is that? They're heavy." I'm like, "It's Guns N' Roses." Oh, fuck them, man. I don't like Guns N' Roses.
Well,
they liked it before they knew who it was, and then we don't want to hear that.
Man, well, dude, I had to swallow all that. I had to swallow eat crow when I was man, keyboards. And then here comes Dio with Holy Diver.
Yeah.
And the main riff in the damn Rainbow in the Dark is the keyboard. And I was like, oh shit, that keyboard part makes the song. All right, all that's out the window.
I'm in.
Well, my favorite Maiden album is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Where they introduced keyboards, right?
And when they had keyboards.
Yeah,
it's still to this day, that's my favorite Maiden album.
Yeah, it's a great record. It's a great record for sure.
Well, you got anything else for him, Carl? You got anything else to add, George?
Man, I'm like past my time actually. But
he's overtime. We went more than the allotted time. He's in the studio,
Yeah. You know what though? For you guys, not a problem. It's worth it. I'll eat the little bit of time I went over. It's not a problem. But I want to thank you guys for having me on the show. And Brett, Carl, you guys continue this as long as it'll take you. And you know what? I think when you do move it to video, that's when you really blow up, because that's when people start watching, and you can put it on YouTube and you start getting the viewer counts and it starts spreading, and it's a cool thing you guys are doing. And so
we appreciate that, George. And, we were just trying to test it out and start with the audio, because, I did a lot of stuff with Bob in the day on video. So it was actually hard for me not having video. I'm used to, I've never done audio before. So I'm looking forward to moving to YouTube and getting out and spreading the audience and spreading we also do horror movies on here. We do horror movies and metal. That's it. Well, that's our focus.
That's all the good stuff, right?
What's your favorite horror movie, George?
My favorite horror movie is The Exorcist. I will always be particular to that particular movie, because I remember when I first saw it, it scared the shit out of me. My parents wouldn't let me see it, and so all the more I was wanting to see it. I want to see it. No, you can't watch it. No, that's not for kids. And I was like, man, fuck this. And finally, I remember when I finally saw it, I was probably 17, 18 years old.
Oh, really? You waited that long, huh?
Yes. And when I finally got to see it, I was petrified. I was like, that is the most horrific thing I've seen.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Because I don't think there were any other movies like that at the time.
No.
There was nothing that gory, that gruesome, and that blasphemous. It was so, with the Jesus, oh my God. I mean, it was truly horrifying and petrifyingly scary,
Yeah.
Dimitri, Dimi, why you leave me here, Dimi? You know, it's like, holy shit, this movie was, I mean, terrorific. So that's my favorite. I did see something the other day though that was I was kind of like, wow, that's pretty scary. It was or kind of freaky, more freaky than scary. And I don't know if this qualifies as horror for you guys, but have you heard of a movie called Titan or Titan? Titan.
Yeah, I think it's on Shudder.
Yes, maybe. No, I think it's on Hulu. But it was done by the same director that she's a female French director that did the movie Raw. Have you seen Raw?
Okay.
I remember Raw. Yes.
Okay, yeah. She's the same director that did Raw, and it's quite cool. Very erotic. It's French. It's a French movie. So you know how they really love to include the eroticism
Yeah.
and with the horror and so it's cool.
Well,
Check
we
it
may
out.
have to
Check
check that
that
out
out.
and do a review on it. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're looking for
exactly.
new stuff to review.
Titan, French flick. Check it out. And the thing's
Check it
on
out.
Hulu, but I could be wrong. But anyway, guys,
All right.
thank you for having me so much.
Thank
No,
you, George.
thank you, man. We appreciate it.
You want me to have Scott throw his face in here real quick to say hello?
Definitely,
Sure, if you
definitely.
want, man.
Sit tight.
All right. Awesome.
Yes.
There's a shot of the studio right there.
He's coming. Show you.
Oh, we're squatting.
Scott Oliver, Dangerous Toys.
What y'all doing?
All right.
What's happening,
Hey,
man?
what's up?
That's Carl. That's Brett.
Hey, Carl. Hey, Brett. How y'all doing?
Not too bad. How's it going today?
I see Mike Myers and somebody else on the right,
Yeah.
or to your left.
Yeah. That's part of the Count Karabi Museum collection here.
Count Karabi.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Big fan of Dangerous Toys too. Always was.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Great band.
Yeah, we're working on, we've been working on the new Toys album. I've just finished a new song. Got vocals on that. And everybody's, come on, man, you've been saying you're writing a record for the last 4 years. I'm like, we are. But I don't have anybody to account to. We just, we decide when we're done, and that's when we're going to let it out. So
There you go. No timeline. Do it when it's right.
Had this guy singing on our Legion of the Dog stuff tonight, killing that. So that was a lot of fun today.
Awesome.
Next to food and recording,
Yeah.
that's a good day.
We eat tacos and record
And
music.
record.
There
I
you
think
go.
The song we were working on today here, we've been working on, is called My Addiction.
Ah, sounds great.
It's all
Awesome.
about Scott's drug habit that he kicked.
My massive drug habit, right? Well, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Now we're all clean living here, man. None of us do drugs or
The closest thing we have is Donovan smokes.
Donovan smoke.
Well, and he smokes cigarettes. So
Yeah, I smoke them damn things. So that's my downfall.
Our
Well,
drummer, same thing.
yeah.
Well,
Well, it was nice meeting y'all. Have a
Yeah,
great week.
two
You
Texas
too.
metal legends together. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
we are
All right,
listening-
George. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. And
You're very welcome.
keep it metal, brother.
Will absolutely do. And thanks again. 50th episode. It's an honor for me. I'm sure it's an honor for Scott there as well. And let me know when you guys are, when the album comes out, the new ASKA, we'll come back and talk it up real big and talk all about it and all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys are on YouTube by then.
Awesome.
All right, George.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks
We
again.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys, my pleasure. Thank you. Keep it metal, play it loud, and I'll see you guys on the 18th at the Rail Club.
I
Yes.
will be there.
We will
Very
definitely
cool.
be there.
All right, guys. Well, be well, be good at it, and heavy metal till you die.
Bye, buddy.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
Be good.